would be kind of cool,
That would be kind of
but
cool.
that would be a little bit more difficult, and it could also play into more of like a diplomatic kind of game where ancients can attack ancients or something like that, or whatever. You could declare war. It's a whole different thing that I don't think they're going down.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit more. So, you never know. And it could also play into more of like a diplomatic kind of game where ancient. If you have an old friend of mine that I used to play foxhole with, that's from Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a little bit more. He always told me, "Oh, come and visit, come and visit." I'm like, if I had the money, I would.
Okay. From wait, where was he from?
Norway.
Oh.
He was Norwegian. He was from Norwegian. He was Norway, and he always tells me to come and visit all the time. And I'm like, can't do that, my friend. I need money.
Okay, fair enough. We are live, by the way. I am just updating the. Yes, sir. Let's see.
Got 7 more minutes. Oh no.
Don't worry about it.
You excited for the major test?
Very excited. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I think it is too. I think there's a lot of people though in the community that is getting very tired of the 3 to 5 or 3-day, 4-day fanned tests that they really want like week or a week and a half play test going on.
I
Personally,
mean, I think the game. So the thing is that you get the tier 3 and Callaghan swords and everything in probably
oh yeah, well,
1.5
if they were
days.
if they were to do the week and a half, they would have to put the multiplier that they have down for all the resources and everything like that. They need to put it down astronomically. But I know plenty of people that are getting tired of like the 1 day or the 3-day tests and stuff like that going on.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you, but it's just I don't know how to put it. You need to have more. It's not just the multipliers and stuff like that. You need to have more mechanics in the game. Like you need to have just siege equipment. Um, just like the base game seems pretty good now. Like they got the base cycle, but the cycle is, no offense to the developers because it's still in testing, right? But there's just so many stuff that needs to be fleshed out and added before you can do these long tests. I know they've done them before, but I think it's only for the really, really hardcore players to do that. Like you need, yeah. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion anyway.
no, I see it. It's always a difference of opinion. That's the great thing about everything. There's always differences, but yeah, I mean, they could easily like lower the modifiers and stuff like that. In my opinion, lower the modifiers for all the resource gathering and everything like that. Make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, but
And
there's there's way more stuff to do in combat. Like spears doesn't work right, you know.
oh yeah,
So you can't do phalanxes. Cavalry hasn't been properly implemented with like you could do proper cavalry charges. The map isn't really ready because the map is really small. If you think about it, even if it's big, it's kind of small. Then there's the whole mining crafting setup. So I think they're gonna do a more complicated mine game later, like a mini game where maybe you go inside the mine or something. And then you have siege equipment. You have different kinds of bows. Maybe you'll have a much more fleshed out farming system that doesn't require you to manually water everything. Not to even touch on logistics and just transporting stuff between A to B. Like if you could have some sort of ship, a bigger ship, not like not talking like a naval redo, but just like one ship that's like a size bigger. That would really
yeah.
alleviate
No,
like
I know
lodging.
what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, also, just from people I know running through the code, there is a lot of things that are coded in the game for that. Like perhaps like I think I heard like they had halberds in the game, like actually in the physical code, and from resources that they heard that it was actually mechanically sound, but they don't know why they're not waiting for it to be put into the game, which makes me feel like there's a lot of things inside that they haven't pushed out yet because they don't think it's ready or they don't want to yet and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but it's difference of opinions and everything like that. So,
Yep. I mean,
really hope it's
it's like it's one thing for the combat to progress where you can sort of do, you know, win the game per se. But I think for me personally, I would like to see the start of the game be fought differently than the end of the game in terms of equipment. And I need to have like the way that they're doing the research. I really like that. I want to see that develop so that there's stuff that takes a really, really long time, even for multiple clans to get together and do it. It's going to take a lot of time for them to research something, like for example, a better ship or a catapult or whatever else it is that you could
yeah.
do. You know, that would be sweet, and I think it would
Oh,
be.
and I get it, and it's just, and then also it's the long debate, and I know the discussion for Anvil that they're trying, like people trying to keep it historically correct as well, too.
I mean, it's
They
more
don't
about
want.
the immersion, right? It's not about because you already thrown politically correct. I was about to say historically correct out the window because it's all fictional, but just the immersiveness of it is important, I think.
Yeah. And what's up, Soul? I see you there.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
All good?
All good.
All right. Yeah, we were
When
just.
isn't Soul good?
Huh?
When isn't Soul good? He's always good.
Well, I mean, he was a bit annoyed with someone in the Discord the other day. It looked like.
I think we're
Oh
all.
no, I just
We're all
I'm a very discussive person.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Anyway, so I've written down some topics for us to talk about today. I don't know if this is any stuff that you guys wanted to talk about. I was hoping Saldor would show up, but he had to do work. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. I hope he has fun at work. But the topics today are the obvious, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then we have some new building features, which you've probably experienced. And there is also the debate about more meat, less farming. And then are beacons radar or 5G? What are they? Does this sound good to you guys, or?
All good.
All right, cool. Let's start straight into the meat, if you guys don't mind, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Obviously, starting with the good. Do you guys remember the last test and the mini tests between? If there was any good stuff that you guys noticed? Ooh, let me just do something. There we go. What did you guys like about it?
It's not that there wasn't anything good that I've noticed. It's just that it's just as good as the last test, in my opinion. I wasn't really on for too much, and I didn't really test a lot of new features. I was mostly on for small PvP and just doing Logi for the clan overnight. But not really anything to write home about, in my opinion. Like anything that was brought to the table, in my opinion, that I could go up about. I was neutral and maybe a little off put by something, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I actually, I don't know how to put it. I liked that there's a bit more stuff required to build some of the buildings now. Like I never really had to deal a lot with wolf dens or wolves until now. And I kind of like that it's forcing me to do that. Like I think it's a better gameplay experience than if I just had to chop wood and the entire game is a wood cutting simulation. So, but I'm guessing you guys kind of disagree.
Not that I disagree. I'm just not a good. I'm first of all, I'm PvP first, and then I'm Logi second. But also building. When I say I do Logi, I do like zero building almost. So I'm not a good person to speak on that topic. So I usually don't. So anything that has to do with more materials for X or less materials, or it was balanced to use this material instead of this, like in the future, oh, well, now it uses iron instead of stone to balance how easy it was to build it or something like that. I won't really notice it that much. Now, if you suddenly made trees 2 times longer to chop, I would probably notice that, because lumberjack is probably my main logi role.
Yep.
But nothing's really changed in that regard.
Well, I'm just gonna write added bones and fat to building requirement, and then I have to reduce the size of this bitch. Hold on, because it's huge. Sorry, this probably looks janky. There we go. I thought that was a good addition. Less boring. Just early on, it's a bit more exciting. Fighting bears and wolves are scary, so. What else did they add? They had like a massive changelog, didn't they? Where they fixed a bunch of bugs as well. Did you guys have any issues with disconnections?
Not this test.
Oh, they
It's
added
pretty smooth.
they added like 3 slots to the horse, right? So it's easier to do logi with horses now, because you can put 3 barrels on them. And then
I see.
And then what about the donkey? What was the donkey about again?
I believe they made a separate saddle for it before they shared it.
Yeah, I thought that was good. Like, it makes land-based logi better, and I think horses are more easy to deal with weird terrain than what the carriages are, because they keep getting stuck in the terrain, which is a bitch.
Yeah, elevation is still pretty broken, so I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, going with a realism effect on it, with the elevation, realistically, a carriage shouldn't be going off of a made trail or a trail that's dirt road.
Wait, what about?
Realistically,
yeah, I know, you're right. It's the physical. It does. Yeah, we can add that
physically,
too.
physically, a carriage would not be going into the middle of the woods to go bring whatever, unless it's going off the woods to make a camp or something like that. But in real life, it wouldn't go off of a road or something like that. So that makes sense, at least with the wagons.
Yeah. Also, I think War was pretty nice for hosting the Ancient Sides PvP area on the west side of the map. That was very nice of you guys. You guys and OG organized some sort of PvP area?
Yeah, it wasn't too big, but I'm looking for this next test. I'm hoping we're still building an arena for the next test for like some sort of tournament. So after the crusade is called and all the blood is shed and whatnot, at the end, I'm assuming, hopefully it goes this way. I hope people agree and don't just attack regardless. But we'll have a little tournament for different clans to come in and duke it out against each other. And we'll host it on stream and all sorts of other stuff. So we got a bunch of cool stuff planned for that. It'll be a lot bigger than the one in the minor test.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit tricky with the. Oop, gotta fix the thingy here. Cods, nice to see you there.
Hello.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. I'm just here to listen in a bit.
Wait, I gotta move this to 620.
Well, I also like that they extended the space for the card, the hand card. That's
yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That they did that too. Yeah, but then they fixed the bug where you couldn't stack wood anymore. That was unfortunate, I think. Let's see.
Yeah. We also had a minor, small test that happened Friday.
Yep.
And I think ended Sunday?
Yeah. No, it ended Saturday morning
Saturday.
or something like
Saturday
that.
morning.
But yeah, hey Bell. Sorry for not acknowledging you. Bell?
He might have muted himself.
He is on stream though. Like his name is on the screen.
Yes.
But I guess he just wants to be quiet. I guess that's okay. No, I think honestly the stuff you guys organized was really great. I was part of that. I thought it was a lot of fun. I got to try out a lot of combat and do a lot of archery and stuff like that. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that. So I hope to see more of that, at least during the smaller test, just to sort of have something fun to run to.
Definitely, I agree. I want that to be a thing that the community can rely on coming together and enjoying. I don't know how the schedule is going to look in the future, but that's definitely going to continue to some extent.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we can move on to the bad now, unless Cods and Bell, you guys have some good stuff to share about what you thought about the test.
No, I have nothing.
All right. The bad. Well, we want longer tests. I think that's what I garnered from all of you.
Well, somewhat.
I think it needs.
I understand why not.
It's a complicated question, and I see the point that people are making that you're playing a certain way because you have 3 days, whereas if you had a week and a half, you would definitely play differently. For sure, like you would even plan differently. But I also think that and I said this with a caveat that this isn't the developer's fault. They're just, they're sharing the game to us in an early version of what it's going to turn out to be, and so I don't want to like throw shade, but there's a lot of really interesting mechanics that doesn't have a lot of depth yet, and that's for a week and a half to do farming or something. I don't think I'm the guy for that. So that's my thinking anyway. Is there anything else that's bad?
Homesteads, in my opinion, are still horrendous, to put it lightly. It could be so simple, in my opinion, to make the homestead something that everybody would enjoy and still have some privacy to it. The reason the way they are right now is because I think they believe it to be a proper mix, of privacy within that area of the homestead and also the ability to have certain people in a certain area. I think that A, the homestead radius should be a lot bigger, and B, you don't need to, if you're pledged to a town, you should be able to either pledge to multiple homesteads or become an ally with another homestead inside the same settlement, or just remove that part of the homestead. Have people who are pledged to the town hall be able to go within anywhere unless they make it a private homestead, right? Everything should just be shareable by default, because it started off as ages ago, before the homestead thing was even a thing. People would join a town and you could do whatever you wanted. There was no restriction. You're in the town, you could do anything in the town. Then it became, there was some restrictions, and it was based on the thanes and stuff like that, who set up the homestead and whatever. And then it was just, if you join the homestead, then you can do anything in that homestead, and you can join another one. And there were certain things you can do in other homesteads because private versus public items. And now it has gotten to the point where you cannot do anything. You can't even open a chest in another homestead unless you were in that homestead. So if you, for example, go to a logging camp and you chop some wood and you join that homestead, great, you can do anything there. Now you have to get your saddle, go all the way outside, and the homestead has to be within that same section of wall that you are, because if they put it inside, and it just so happens that the wood cutting area, the homestead that belongs to that building, is in a different section of wall that you are, now you have to go all the way around. And that's something that I experienced, and good God, that is annoying. So you either A, have to keep doing this back and forth ring around the rosy shit with the way they have it set up, or B, you can only do one part of your role at the same time, right? So I can only wood chop, and someone has to be wood cutting, and we can't switch back and forth. So that A, decreases efficiency at some times, or B, you have to, create some sort of schedule chart thing. Like it's overly complicated.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think so. The way a lot of and so this I think this plays a lot into the immersion of the game, right? Is to see functionality that also looks really good. And if you create a functional homestead that has the function of a particular resource gathering or resource focus, as opposed to it just being completely communal, it would then end up looking more realistic or more immersive because you would have these small sections of the town split up into these small hamlets or just like areas that would sort of be earmarked for particular production from that person who owned that plot in the land in the town, and that just ends up looking very good. Actually, I've seen some other games that does this really well. Which a game that pops into my mind is a strategy game called Matterlords, for example, where you create really beautiful medieval towns, and uh, the plots that you put down, they can be communal, or you could create like add-ons that only the family in that house has. But I'm not sure that the community is going to work that way, where that's going to work.
I know exactly. For sim games, that's great because you can section out everything, exactly what X person is going to do until you tell them what to do otherwise, or they die. In a game like this, in a game where it's Age of Empires, but every unit is a player, or it's a sim game, but every unit is a player, it just doesn't. People aren't going to like it, whether or not they see why it's being done. There's a fine line between realism and quality of life, and this is crossing the line into too much realism and degrading the quality of life that players can have. And when you do that in a game, doesn't matter what the reason is, people aren't going to like it. Even if I were to agree with something, because I've had certain things where I look at it, I'm like, I think that would be cool if it happened, but I understand why they're not doing it, because it would piss off too many people. And that's where I think they need to relook at what they're doing with homesteads, because it is just getting too much, in my opinion. And I haven't found a single person who genuinely likes the system. I've seen people tolerate it, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the perfect system is going to be, because I think a system that allows you to build the town hall immediately, it's not the best system. You should have sort of a build up towards a town hall. So you could start with a homestead where you're a single player, and then you can connect your homestead to a town hall that someone who perhaps had silver or got silver to, because maybe the first like gathering pit needs silver, and so he would claim the land around him, including so it would be a bigger radius of claiming, but the build radius would be reduced, but you could still build in your homestead, because I think the homestead would be a nice single player experience, and it would fit into this sort of vision that the developers have. Well, we're guessing. I'm assuming that this is their vision. I could be wrong, but let's just say it's their vision of having a more, let's call it, authentic experience when you join a medieval game, to see these small hamlets outside the towns, the farms, all that stuff fleshed out. But maybe there's some sort of technical limitation or other issue we don't know about that's just not making it possible to do it. So maybe it's got an issue with spawn points or something. I don't know. Anyway, so so should I write access, or what do I write there? Just leave it at homesteads? I don't even know.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I think people get the point. Most people don't like at least most people that I've talked to don't like homesteading as it is right now. Like I said, they should add the option to do what you said, but it shouldn't be forced. If you want to create your own little private homestead and, chuck it out in the middle of Timbuktu, then that's fine. But as it stands right now, I think it's become an annoyance for most players.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, so yeah, I mean, I suppose I had more of a hybrid thought in mind. But anyway, I'll just leave it at that, I guess. Is there anything else bad about the last couple of tests you guys want to bring up? Okay. No worries. We'll just move on. And then the ugly, which I think one of you guys mentioned. Now I completely forgot it though. There was someone mentioned something ugly. Oh yeah, the terrain, right? I think we mentioned this before. And
Yeah, elevation is busted, I guess.
yeah, elevation / physics. It doesn't seem to follow the laws of physics. So
Yeah,
like falling off a cliff, or horses falling off cliffs, or wagons falling off cliffs, or just stuff floating a lot is what I see. I think the other game that Siege Camp has made called the Foxhole doesn't have a lot of elevation. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I've hardly played, but from what I've seen, I don't believe so. Not too much.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's perhaps they haven't had that much experience with it, or
Yeah, correct. The foxhole, it has minimal elevation. I mean, it does affect things, but it's not as crazy as Anvil.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, the mountains should be in the game. I'm not refuting
Yeah.
that. I just wish more of
No,
a.
yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Historically, it makes sense because it's an industrialized place. They probably flatten a lot of areas on purpose, and who knows where it's who knows where it's took place. I guess in France, as I understand. I'm not sure. It's World War, so who knows where it actually is. But in France, as I understand, there wasn't really a lot of elevation where they were. A lot of farmland and stuff like that, and especially in the industrial areas, it's a lot of flat plains, just like certain states. It's just basically a line you can see onto the horizon forever. Whereas if you go into somewhere like Maine or Vermont or something like that, it just hills everywhere. So as far as a historical standpoint, none of that has actually happened yet. So I get it. But good God, if they have to have it in the test right now, I feel like something needs to be looked at there, because I've seen so many people die and just lose so much because of that, which is fine, whatever.
From
You
what?
can pick it back up again from the elevation, running into a mountain and going through the floor.
Oh,
Yeah, the majority of the time that I see that happen, it's because of the elevation.
what's that called?
Glitching out.
Phasing. Phasing
Yeah, they phase into the floor.
into terrain. I'll just write it that. Yeah, I've done that myself. That sucks. I agree. It's especially when you lose a horse, because usually you fall down with a horse.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's one thing to lose. You can just go back and pick up your inventory, but your
Mhm.
horse is a work and a half.
Yeah, I just was it the last test? I don't know if it was the last minor test or the one before that, but I got stuck on nothing, and it just so happened that there was a wolf pack 10 meters away, and what do you know, they all saw me and killed the horse. I got away, but I was very mad. It was a brand new horse that we just tamed, so I was bringing it back to this is the Giga settlement, so it was the test before. Yeah, I was not happy.
Yeah, I mean,
There was no logs, there was no nothing. It was just middle of nowhere, just got stuck. It's like there was someone laid down a glue trap or something. I don't know.
Hey, Freeze, I did see you join. I just forgot to acknowledge you. Do you want to say
Hello,
hi?
hello.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to say hi to all your French fans?
I don't have a lot of French fan, I think, but hello, French fan.
Well, you should say it in French, obviously.
Oh, in French. Bonjour à tous.
Okay, so it
Yeah.
is currently 9 o'clock French time, so it's not bonjour, but bonsoir.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, aren't
But,
you're the French guy. You're supposed to correct me.
Yeah, but it's difficult in France. We say bonjour or bonsoir.
Oh, okay, so
don't
you're kind of cool. You're like hip. You're
Yeah.
like, we don't care what time of day it is. We just say good
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
no matter what. Gangsta.
yeah.
All right, cool. Well, anyway, do you have any ugly experiences during the last couple of tests that you want to talk about?
No.
Maybe
No,
the
not
rivalry
really
between you
big
and
thing, but,
the streamer clan?
it's been far long time ago. But no, not big. Oh no.
Isn't it? I
Nothing.
always thought it was benign, like it was for fun.
What?
but for fun.
Like isn't there so the streamer like Kenny?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a problem between some of my guy. It was last major test,
Mhm.
and some of my guy, Kenny is a French streamer, and they just go on the stream and just tell some information, and he thought when we attacked his settlement, we are stream hacking, but we just rush into their town with Russians and all war, and just destroy everything. And so some of my guy get banned from this chat. It was difficult, but we talk with Kenny, and it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, because
No more problem.
from what I heard, that they really want to kill you guys, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Mm.
So anyway, so that's not ugly, I guess. So the community seems to be working pretty well here so far.
Yeah, for the
We'll see.
moment.
We'll turn into a cesspit of violence and toxicity pretty soon. Anyway, so there's no more ugly topics people want to bring up. You guys are pretty happy with the topics we discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
good.
think so.
All right. Roger that. Let's move over to the test schedule. So we were actually I consider myself lucky. Maybe you guys disagree. I consider myself lucky to have been able to participate in the Friday to Saturday test we had. Despite it being a small one, I just feel happy to be able to just join the game and be there. I don't know about you guys. Do you guys? I mean, obviously, I don't doubt that you guys want to have more bigger tests that are better. But do you appreciate smaller tests that are sort of unannounced or just quick, just to test stuff out?
I mean, it's nice before a big test, but maybe more frequency in tests would be a little bit better too. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of like in between these major tests, have a week or two instead of almost like a month or something like that.
Frequency I can understand more than overall length. The frequency is them fixing stuff, so I understand why it doesn't happen a lot. I don't want them to get overwhelmed with deadlines, because the majority of the reason that we have seen so many Garbaggio games and titles come out in the last, I don't know, decade is because of deadlines. And if they have a deadline set the way it is right now, because that's what they know they can handle right now, I don't want them to change that. If they need that time, I want them to take as much time as possible, especially during this stage of the development cycle. When you start rushing them and requiring, as a player base, we're demanding more frequency of tests and open access and stuff like that. That's when you get stuff like Cyberpunk coming out way too early, even though the devs knew it wasn't ready. They said it wasn't ready multiple times. It kept getting delayed for proper reason, but they wouldn't have had to have delayed it that much if they just came out and straight up said, we need way more time than we originally said, instead of, okay, well, we'll push it back a bit. It's delayed again. We'll push it back again. It's delayed again. The reason they're doing that is because the publishers had a deadline that they wanted to set. And I'm assuming, I'm no insider, right? But this is usually what happens is the developers and the publishers get into a little scuffle, and then eventually they work something out like, okay, well, we'll give you until X date to release this much of your product or all of it. And then it comes out and then it's garbage because they didn't have enough time to do everything. So I understand that they're not releasing the entirety of the game, and it is a testing cycle, and that's why we're here to fix it. But if the issues from the previous test don't have enough time to get fixed before the next test comes out, then we're going to experience more issues. And at least in my opinion, they do a really good job with failure analysis. So, but before they release the next test, usually the majority of the issues that were broken with the last test are fixed by the time the new one comes out. And that's because we give them enough time. I don't want that to change. I want them to have that time.
Well, I disagree. No, I'm just kidding. I think everyone agrees. I think it's there are. It's like give and take, obviously, because we get a free game that we get to play and have fun with. They get to test their game, but they would want us to rejoin the next time as well and have a good experience. And so we do give feedback on that. Like in terms of what you're saying when it comes to the frequency, then in my opinion, yeah, I agree they could do whatever they want, but they also do kind of have to think, okay, do we want to have the people that are experienced, or do we want to have a bunch of people who've never experienced the game before try the game now? And so that could also play into their decisions on frequency. It would also be like in terms of the length of the test, because like there's certain games out there where you play for an hour and a half and then you do sort of restart the game in a way, and people don't feel it's worth to spend another 3 hours doing logi and building everything up again all over again, because they feel like they did that. Why are they doing it again? So yeah, it's it's like give and take. So hopefully we have a lot to give and the devs have a lot to give.
I think the length should be what they increase, not the frequency. Not by a lot. I'm not asking for a 2-week test, but maybe a 5-week major test would be pretty reasonable. I feel like more people would be inclined to play the test, like you were saying, and that is a big issue, especially with a lot of clans. Is if you don't have an incentive to join and play, people aren't going to feel like there's any reason to play, because they have to restart again. They have to do logi again, because at least right now, until they open more access, a lot of PvP people, a lot of people who are focused on PvP are forced to do logi, because if you don't, you're screwing your faction, you're screwing your settlement, your clan, right? And people don't want to have to go through that again and again and again for a 3-day test. Sometimes it's not even a full 3 days, sometimes just 2 days. And usually people are busy, right? People have lives outside of it. So they may not even be able to get on that week if they want to, especially for a minor test, right? That's why you barely see anybody during minor tests. But for major tests, making a name for yourself or testing features or winning the war for a lot of people right now are not incentive enough to play the game consistently. They may log in, test around some features, and especially the newer people, they may not know how it feels to play the game yet. So they'll log in, they'll play a few hours, and they're like, I'm done. If this test is going to end in 2 days, then I'm just going to log off and go play Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's the game is sufficiently simple enough now that the tests don't need to be that long. But if they do add some of the features that we would want, where you get more complex crafting mini games and just more interesting tools like siege equipment or spares that work, or like war horses, I think they will probably have to increase the length of the tests, because people have to reach it to be able to test out the feature in a credible way, so that they could see like multiple organically created horse cavalry charges or something like that. But anyway, let's move on to the next point, which is new building features that we could talk about. They've added a bunch of fixes and updated some of the wagons. Yay or nay? You guys like it?
Yeah, I like it.
You like it, Steelhand?
Yeah.
Hold
Yeah.
on, let me get your names in there. Here we go. Yeah, you like it. Why do you like it? Why?
It makes my job of transporting logs from the sawbuck into our main storage area much easier.
Okay.
Because, well, they changed from you can handle, I don't know, 100, 200, almost 200 planks or whatever in your inventory, which was a bit absurd, to be fair. You chop down, I don't know, 80 trees, or I don't know, 9, and you can just put them in your pocket. That's a bit,
You mean the
extreme.
planks?
Yeah, the planks.
Yeah, you can put was it 360 or 1? I don't know, hundreds of
Stack
planks.
is 30.
Yeah, they
at the
yeah.
time.
So there's a lot of but you can't do that anymore because it's like the stones now.
Yeah. So one plank is that's it.
Yeah.
But you can stack them inside of the cart, and then you can transport them.
Yeah, but do they? Oh wait, no. The carts have been fixed. You can no longer stack them in the
Really?
carts. Yeah, they
Damn.
fixed that. I mean, that was the
That was a really nice feature.
That wasn't a
You
feature.
would
That
have-
was a bug.
Was that a bug?
That was a bug. Yeah, it was
Oh,
not
I thought
supposed.
it was a feature.
No, that's why I wrote number 3. No more stacking planks. I don't know if you're looking
Oh,
at the stream,
no.
but yeah, you can't stack planks anymore except for
I
in
was
the.
so happy for that because there was not such a big a hassle because you could have 24 planks in the cart and the carts are useful even more
Yeah.
now.
They're not
Yay.
useful. They're not as. They're a little bit useful because they increase the slots, but
Oh yeah.
they're not that useful now, unfortunately.
It's a bit of a wah wah on that one.
I think. I mean, we'll probably see some more iterations on this. I don't think this is the last thing we'll hear from woodcutting
No.
and build prices and special required. Like maybe they'll require us to make like nails or something like that because we have hammers. Why wouldn't we need nails? So maybe they'll try to complicate construction even more to slow down the gameplay and make you, because it was a very singular gameplay before. We just did wood and then twigs or planks and then you build and that's it. And then oh yeah, we got to upgrade. Oh, let's go get some stone. And that's it. That's your building mini game. But now it's much bigger. But obviously there's a few bugs with the wolves and the bears because you can easily kill them if you just know how to glitch them or something like that. But yeah, I think animal bones and animal fat is a good addition. But it's unfortunate that we have to spend so much time stacking or working with planks that can't be stacked. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, I don't think you guys have a lot of opinions about this, so I think we're going to move on to the next topic if that's okay with everyone.
Yep.
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 Okay, so there's now more meat and less farming. Farming seems absolutely useless. But because you can just buy everything you need in terms of labor and labor supplies and reinforcement supplies, you can just get from the meat. Is that good or bad?
For me, hunting it's good, but less farming. I'm not. I think they can just stay for labor supply with farming.
Mm-hmm.
So farm can help for that. And I'm not. I don't like no more farming.
Yeah, farming
It's,
isn't fun yet.
Yeah, but
No, because we've already had that discussion, I think, on this Discord before, and
Mm.
like farming is like it's a 5. So you can do 3 water buckets on a field, and then you wait 5 minutes per bucket, so that's like a total of 15 minutes, and then you can just do other stuff. And then I think it takes a total of an hour and a half, or does it take 2 hours for the fields to grow, or is it 1 hour? Well, anyway, it just for me personally, I think it would be the only interaction I should have with the fields should be to plant and to put what's it called again? The shite and
Fertilizer.
yeah, that's it. Then I just wait. Then it's a waiting game. And then they should be allowed to be put outside your town. So you can have fields, lots and lots of fields of grain outside your town. Then it would be useful. But now it's just too work intensive to deal with, just too much micromanagement. I don't know. If there's any developer watching this, like just make it so that we can build fields anywhere and plant and just not require water. Or something like that.
Or
Anyway,
make,
whatever.
Water wheels more effective, or
I mean,
you know.
yeah. So like, if they could make it so that the zone next to the river is like you can do that, but then if you have a town that's inland, you have to water it manually with a bucket. That's okay. That's an okay solution. But yeah.
I also do have another thought, possibly.
What?
Or they can add in one if they ever add in seasons. They can also add in weather, rain. It could also produce that. So if you get a rainy day, you won't have to water your plant.
Oh yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I like that. That's really
So
smart.
it, like instead of like, oh, it rained. Oh shit, it didn't rain. Now we got to take buckets and go water our crops. But if it rained the day before, you're good to go. You know what I mean? Something like that would also be cool if they add in seasons or weather or even like stuff like that. Like even add mist or something like for inclement weather, so you can maybe sneak up on a town and they don't even know you're coming or something like that. And that would be a kind of a cool feature.
Or a survival game thing where if it's really cold, you have to have clothes, otherwise you freeze to death.
I mean, that's one thing they do have in Foxhole, where if you're in the middle of a blizzard, you can freeze, and if you don't keep fuel on the fire or the campfire will freeze over too. So you could add inclement weather into stuff like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
You have to have grandma mittens or you're gonna die of frostbite.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's cool because then, we want to play in an environment that is difficult. We have to take precautions. Like even wind is a thing in Foxhole when you do artillery. And I'm hoping that it's also going to be a thing in this game where, if you have the wind in your favor when it comes to sailing, right? That would work great wonders when you're trying to trade. But then if the wind isn't in your favor and you don't have let's say you have a ship that's only a sail ship with very few oars, so you're not really able to fight against the wind, so you're kind of stuck. You just got to wait for the wind to turn, which might take a day or two. I mean, it creates more flavor to the gameplay, if you know what I mean. And I think we want to have that flavor because it tastes good. It makes it feel more alive, right? Like you would never visit that town on your route. You have a Logi route where you're trading stuff between two towns but then you have to stop in a town for a few days or a day to wait for the weather. That's cool. You get to check out a new town. I think it's cool anyway, but that's just me. Yeah, good points. There's more food now. Way more food. Like the only food that seems to matter right now are meat and berries. Wasting time on eggs. Yeah, you can use eggs a bit because it's feathers, sure, but eggs and grain and cabbage, the only uses they have is either for chicken food or for the horses. It's not for food because it's just so work intensive.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why you would plant farms in the first place, actually. Because it just I don't because you can kill a boar, you can kill a deer, both their meats can be cooked in a fire pit. You do not need a hearth, so you can just cook it anywhere. Like if you're a good hunter, you kill your deer and you plop down a fire pit immediately, and you start cooking it. You don't have to wait. You don't have to bring it back to base or hurry up to make sure the meat doesn't go bad or anything. Then you have like 5 minutes to hunt for another one, and just do it in the same. Like it's just You just instead of bringing back raw meat, you're bringing back cooked meat, putting it in the pile.
Yeah, and it doesn't spoil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you just gather up because you're in a deer spot, so you can have. I think, you can't build a resource gathering pit, but you can build like a chest and just put the leather in there, and then just
Yeah,
have
if
some.
it's in for the radius of your town hall, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can build chests anywhere.
Can you?
Yeah.
Huh. I haven't tried that.
It's okay. I forgive you. Anything else you guys think about the changes to the meats and the farming and stuff like that? Everyone needs fat and bones, so that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I get the concept with what they want to do eventually. I mean, you ever play a game called Valheim? It's kind of sort of.
Yep.
I think they might kind of sort of like go into like that esque where you have different tiers of food. I mean, I know we have like everything has a different buff, everything has a different kind of food hunger limit and stuff like that. But maybe later on down the road, what they're trying to plan to do is maybe add a little bit more cookery or some like more stuff that they can do, and farming would be more essential than everything else instead of just a deer meat or boar meat or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
So I mean,
sorry.
it goes back into what we were talking about originally, Wicca, like everything like that. That it just I think they have things in mind that they want to do with certain things, and it may not be fully fleshed out just yet, and people are getting a little frustrated with it because it's like exactly like you were saying. The point is, farms right now aren't really essential. I mean, unless you're doing like you said, for chicken feed and for equine food and stuff like that. But maybe in the dev's mind later on down the road, they want farming to be the more sustainable thing than hunting.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't given us
I
like.
mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I've been talking a lot, so I don't mind.
I mean, also another thing could happen like later on down the road once we get longer tests and a longer active time that maybe if you're sieging a certain town for a long time, maybe farms might be the better route for a sustainable food source because then you don't have to leave the camp. You can encircle yourself in there and siege a place and stuff like that. Or you know what I mean? Like I think they have ideas and stuff. I think we just need time for that, and or they need to like give a little bit more of an insight of like, oh yeah, don't worry guys, farming will be a little bit better. Just give us some time. You know what I mean? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think they have probably a design document. Oh, sorry, you sneezed. Okay. I think they have some sort of design document where they have general concepts outlined, but I think also so there's multiple things. It is they have maybe it's in the pipeline, it's being programmed and it's going to be ready for a later build, or that they have a bunch of these basic features that they want to try out first because it all has to connect with the rest of the gameplay, right? And so they're sort of giving us crumbs when they actually do have full size plates of meat and beef in terms of features ready to go. Well, maybe in a experimental whatchamacallit, like in a very experimental state, but still they have big stuff ready. They just don't want to put it in the game all at once because they want to see how things balances themselves out. If there's like any huge issues with the technical side of things, specifically because they're also going for a much higher player count and a bigger map than what I understood Foxhole was. There's going to be a lot more action spread out more across the entire map as opposed to Foxhole, which has it's a bit more. Well, maybe I'm wrong here. You guys probably might know this better, but the impression is that the entire map is going to be utilized way more in Anvil Empires. Freeze, do you have a comment?
No.
Okay, no worries. You can chime in, man. I talk a lot, so if you guys talk more, then I can rest my voice. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. This game has got me hooked, and
Yeah, I mean,
hook, line, and
like
sinker.
you're saying, yeah, like you're saying with the concept, like yeah, they're going for a bigger map eventually, but like they need to, in my opinion, I feel like they need to be a little bit more a little bit like maybe not so secretive maybe with their plans and stuff and be like, yeah, hey guys, this farming stuff is going to be used eventually, so we got to keep it in there, yada yada yada. It's not just useless, you know what I mean? Keep the skills up.
But it's good for
Because I
marketing,
mean,
Dark, because then they can say, "Oh, the community suggested it. Thank you so much." But they actually had it planned all along. They just give us
oh yeah,
credit. That could be like a
oh yeah,
conspiracy theory.
yeah. And going to your big map theory, I mean, yeah, it would be awesome for that because then you could take whole sections of the map and turn it into basically going on to like a little bit what you were talking about earlier with the homesteads. You can literally turn a whole region just into a farming area or lumber area. You know what I mean? It could eventually turn into that with a big map that you were talking about,
Yeah.
concept wise.
I don't know if people. I mean, maybe you're right, but do you think we're gonna have clans that only do wood cutting or only do farming, or what are you saying?
I mean, I think it all depends on the way the player base goes. You know what I mean? You might
Mm.
get a lot of people that like to do hybrid stuff of PvP and Logi and farming and all that stuff, or you might get like Foxhole. You have so many people in that game that strictly all they do is Logi. And then other people all they do is tanking. All other people all they do is infantry. Other people all they do is engineering, yada 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 yada, etc. So it all depends on the player base here. If it turns into people like to do mixes of both, then I don't think a homestead strictly that is useful just for logging camp or farming or etc. would be useful. Whereas if you do get more of a player base that, or clans, even groups of people that just want to do logi for the entire time and farm and mine materials and stuff like that, yada, etc. Like you can get more into the strictly homesteads or groups and areas for mining and farming and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I
I
mean, I
mean,
think
event.
if
Go
they
ahead.
can manage to make the game's logi as interesting as it is in Valheim, at least, and I think that they've even gone farther in some places already with for example the smithing, like it's a lot of fun. So I think if they manage to make the mini games really good, it it could be that we're gonna see people who just play this game for the crafting part instead of the PvP. Anyway, yeah, thank you. I don't think people, or maybe that's bold of me to say, but Steel Hand, Freeze, you guys want to have chime in on the more meat, less farming?
No,
No,
I definitely think farming. We could have more farming, different kinds of, you know, just not just cabbages or wheat, but more like I wouldn't say potatoes, but radishes and other sorts of food stuff. Also for animals, but on also for humans, the
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
Uh, Different kind of things. It will play into what you could sow in different seasons too. Like some of the plants doesn't grow in the midsummer, and some will only, sprout at a certain time of the near winter or in the beginning of spring.
mm, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's yeah. I like that. That's a cool idea actually. Or you could have certain areas that only grow that crop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
certain areas. Yeah,
that would be cool too.
and maybe in the winter you can only forest for mushrooms because
Oh yeah, that's true.
none of the plants are alive except for the
You have to
mushrooms.
build up your stocks for the winter. That's
Yeah.
actually yeah. I mean yeah. Now I'm just really psyched. Holy crap! You just made me really. Ugh. Well, because it's just such a fun problem. Because you have so many problems that you're presented to as a player, right? And then you have to solve these
Yeah.
problems. It's a lot of fun, and I think it got me thinking too. Like when we get to add mead and drinking to the game, if I mean I'm assuming that they have to add that because it's a lot of fun.
I
But
demand it.
I
Oh yeah.
demand it too. Like we need beer in the game. Like I'll probably start like a. Is there like some sort of signature petition you can start to have beer in the game? Just I mean, with all the respect to the developers' freedom
Just
of
creative ideas, I
creative
guess.
freedom, but the players want beer. Like we want the beer.
I swear, I think it is confirmed. I'd have to look through each of the devs' chat history, but I swear to God, I feel like I've seen one of them say something about it before.
It better be. It better be there, because that's what like just like dozing away doing those mini games, with the chopping wood. You could do that for a few hours, but also being able to sort of, I'm not going to say role play, but if I could have real beer in my hand in real life and then have a beer in the game and then just simultaneously drink. That would be pretty cool. And
make wine.
oh yeah. But then also
great.
Yeah, mead.
if other people did the same thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Where
Yeah.
I had a real beer, they had a real beer, and then in the game, and then we all had like a virtual cheers and a real
Oh
cheers.
yeah.
It would make
Yeah,
more. It would
with
be
horns.
a more powerful cheer.
I can't remember who I discussed this with, but we said at one point, because I think we also did look through chat history and saw it was confirmed or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but we said that we would create a part of the, like, after the tournament is done and everything, and it's just like everyone's hanging around, chilling, talking in Twitch chat, wherever we're streaming, we would have a segment where it's just like drinking with the boys, right? So all the casters and some of the players or leaders would come together into the bar that was built for like the after party. And we would just drink and talk about stuff, kind of like what we're doing now, but more so about strictly PvP or whatever, just drinking. And, we could set up like a drunken fist fight arena or something like that. I don't know. I feel
No,
like
we don't need an arena.
there's a
The
lot.
bar is the arena.
Yeah, well, I mean, that would depend on who built it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
No, I think that'd
Pouring
be cool.
alcohol, chugging, and see how many you can go without
Yeah.
passing out.
If
Yeah,
that was a game
yeah.
feature where if you drank too much,
Mini
you
game.
would pass out. And
Yeah.
then,
Too much
but it was
poison.
random. But it was random. So
Oh,
you could
random.
have competitions, and then it's just an RNG comp. So you drink one, and then they
Or
drink one.
you have to Skyrim lockpick your way into sobriety.
Oh.
So the person who can click the tiniest square to stay standing wins,
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
or
But
something. I don't know. That sounds annoying, but something cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
no, there's a
animation
lot
is
of
you're
options.
just chugging, and in the meanwhile you're just luck picking.
well, you
Yeah.
could do emojis because they need to add emojis so we could like salute each other, but not salute, but just waving or showing each other the finger or the fist. You
Mm.
know, no, I'm serious like that.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah, I
totally
want to
with you on
floss
that
on
one.
my enemies.
But if they actually do add, so because I think there's a game. Is it
Do the
Mordhau?
eagle thing.
Mordhau
Like,
has instruments where you can play.
Mm.
It would be cool, like if they could add something like that, like a MIDI converter to like your number keys or something.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be cool. I have a thread, an entire thread, on the suggestion thing for, if I could find it, war songs, battle music, and bards.
Oh yeah.
And that would be a feature that I ever since before I even had access. This is back in February, earlier this year, or I started the thread in March, but I've wanted it since I knew about the game. My original idea was it wasn't just music; it was also providing a small buff. For example, what was one of the a charge tune, right? So you have a bugle, you have the cavalry behind you, you sound the bugle, and everyone within your platoon or your regiment or whatever, everyone within X distance. I don't know how they'd set it up, but assuming that there was a way to set it up, everyone with X applied to them would have like a, I don't know, 20% speed increase for 5 seconds, right? So you would sound the charge, everyone would charge for that duration of that buff. You would be a little bit faster, so it would make the charge more meaningful. New World, that was a good one, and I wish they did more with it because New World sound design was just impeccable. They had a fort horn, and when you played that fort horn, and it would go on cooldown for several minutes, but when you played it, it would give the defenders of the fort, everyone that was on that side of the fort, would get a 30-second, I believe, defensive buff. And there were 2 different tiers that you could upgrade within the fort's like user interface thing. But anyways, it would give them that extra boost in defense so that they could, for 30 seconds, help them push back the people who just broke through the gate. Because usually in New World, if you had one side break through to the other side and open their gates, usually that team was going to die. So you'd have that buff. And I feel like they could implement that in a lot of different ways. For example, marching, right? You'd have a march tune. So you can't play in combat and 30 seconds out of combat, but during that that period where you have your little band playing, like a snare drum or a few people playing that, you would have a slight increase to your speed and maybe some reduction to the amount of hunger that it was taking down, so you could march longer distances without as much of an annoyance, or you'd get there faster. And then that way it would also incentivize people to march in formation properly, right? So it would start looking a lot more organized, instead of just a shit ton of people, 40 people just running about doing whatever, you know what I mean? Because if you've ever seen a crusade from the ancient side, it is not organized at all. There's a bit of a line, but then you have like fucking 50% of the player base is just randomly running off to X point, and there's no organization to it. I feel like it would have been very cool if we had those 75 to 100 people all together in formation, marching with the caravan, in a square formation or something. Adding that, I feel like, would be really cool. And I think music is the perfect example to put that in there.
Wow.
But
that was one hell of a tangent on music, but thank you.
Dude, dude, I'm so excited for that shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm excited too, but I think you're more excited than I am for music.
Yeah.
That's cool. Just keep carrying that torch, Raven. What's up?
Better than people than Mike spamming.
For formation, I don't think it's a good idea to just make a formation on like every soldier follow one guy and just drop the keyboards.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. You agree with me. And do something like some PvP in Bannerlord, Mountain Blade Bannerlord. You see some footage of this?
Yep.
Because it's I think we will arrive in the future to the same type of PvP.
You mean like line battles?
Yeah, some line battles, if some line battles happen, but they can move in formation, and they use a walk things.
Yeah.
So if they had this, like a walk button for everyone, I think it can work.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would like that too. I think they should have, like, I know people have suggested some sort of thing you can sort of enter that makes you stick to everyone else, but I think you should be able to have a slower walking stance or something like that you can engage to synchronize your marching, so that there's a marching speed that you could just sort of sync up, instead of it being a button you click and then you just sort of auto walk everywhere.
Yeah, a magnetism for control instead of a full-on you're stuck here sort of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think there's a lot of other people who have other opinions about it, so I'm not going to say that I'm going to die on that hill. Like, if they make a stuck thing, then that's fine. I don't mind. Anyway, I think we can move over to the next topic now, which is are beacons radar or 5G? And I found an image online. Let me see if I can put it up on the stream.
They're a UAV and nothing else. They're disgustingly broken for how much we can spam them, in my opinion.
Hold on, let me see if I can put this on. I stole this image, by the way, just so everyone knows. So I will...
Oh, I think I know what you're about to show. There's a delay to your thing, so it'll be another 20 seconds before I see it. But
oh yeah, I'll post it on the channel. Hold on. There we go. Upload file. This one. And I got the image from...
Yep.
That's the one.
What's his name again? Wait, can I just take the entire screen?
That was someone in our clan war did that. Shit, what was his? Who did that again? Hold on, I gotta go look through the leader chat.
Sexy Rooster.
Oh, that was Order. Okay, I thought one of us did that. Okay.
No, Sexy Rooster posted that. But yeah, that's crazy. That's so weird.
It's disgusting, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be able to do that at all. I think there should be a hard cap to where we can build them, because in Foxhole, whatever, it's it's to that point in history where intelligence like this perhaps would be possible, but with what we have now, smoke signals and whatnot, this is not. I don't think this is acceptable, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't like this.
Yeah,
It
I
just
think I think the big point here was if you're under attack, your town is under attack, you have a way to see that you're about to be attacked, so you can prepare for it. Um, which
yeah.
it's sort of like it's probably a way to solve the AI problem that people have been talking about. There's this huge
No,
debate about AI.
can't solve it. It can solve it, I think. But I really like it's if they stay if we can build this thing everywhere, it's gonna be like Foxhole with a watchtower everywhere. And in Foxhole it makes sense, but in a medieval game, I don't like this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem authentic. It doesn't seem.
Yeah.
And just scoot. Have some guys scooting to spot some.
Hide and seek should be part of the game as a
Yeah,
natural.
this
Yeah,
turns me
but,
off from partisaning at all, because I can't just go out and raid trade lines or anything like that, or send up ambushes in the forest. I have to, burn down 50 goddamn beacons before I can do that. And then by the time I get to the 50th one where I want to set up the ambush, people are probably going to know that I'm in that area anyways, unless I burn down another 200 beacons around the area so they don't know where I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, well, there's no beacons over there. We're just not going to go over there, right? That is, it puts such a disgusting mentality into people is, well, I can't see my wall hack, so I'm just not going to go in that area because there's no beacon there, right? It is that's disgusting to say the least.
No, I agree. It's I don't know how to put it. I think it's radar, isn't it? It's just
It is. Yeah. No, it's 100% radar.
So I'm not sure what to say about how do I call it? Like they're trying to solve a problem, right? They're looking at the gameplay and they see, okay, this is a problem. This is how we could solve it. And then they introduce this beacon system, which it's a solution, but do we have a better suggestion as a community that would alleviate this?
Balance it and don't let us spam 200 beacons in an area like this. You can balance this, hard cap it, make it so that there has to be a system, right? You have to be within X distance of a town hall to place it.
Yeah.
And it requires it to be linked, right? So you have, let's say you could build 3 beacons, right? 3 beacon radiuses out from a town hall. And if the edge of a beacon is not within another beacon, then you can't place that other one. If you try to place a 4th one, it won't give you the radar effect.
Yeah.
So that way you can't build, like this.
Yeah, they nerf it.
Yeah, but it's not
for this test with planks, but
it's not enough. I think the beacons was a cool way to sort of see which direction the enemy's going to come at you from when they're attacking a castle or a town that you're going to defend anyway. But you should not be able to just build beacons anywhere.
I agree.
They need to be limited to nearby to the towns. But I mean, I think we shouldn't be too harsh on the developers. Obviously, they're trying to fix a problem. I don't know exactly what problem they're trying to fix. I'm assuming it's related to early game raids or just raids in general. I'm not entirely. There's something that they're working on that they're not really telling
Kultun
us.
say in the chat,
Yeah.
they have a minimum build from each other now.
They have a minimum build distance, but there's no limit to how far you can build them, is what I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Right. It's not just the build distance; it's the amount that you can. You shouldn't be able to be, 10 miles from the nearest settlement and build a beacon.
Yeah.
that is
I mean, it's
broken.
if you think about it, like they're if you wanted to alt, you wouldn't have to alt. You can just build a beacon next to the enemy's camp.
They also did up the amount of fuel that does take for the beacons.
Yeah, but still, it's just the
That
point is
just
that
that makes an annoyance.
it's
It doesn't balance it.
yeah, it doesn't
No, it
balance
doesn't.
it.
I mean, you just also go
Even
to the play of what we were talking about earlier with Homestead. Once we get later on in the game,
yeah,
like don't allow it to be like a radar, but it could kind of be in essence like hate to bring it up, but like Lord of the Rings with the beacons of Minas Tirith. You know what I mean? Like you can light them, and then a chain effect could happen or something like that later on down the road if you do have settlements along the borders.
yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
we
But
do
That
kind of have that
the
already.
problem with that is it's not real life. If we didn't have Discord, then that would have been a cool idea, but people aren't going to do that. Only the most hardcore LARPers will do that.
yeah,
The 99% of the player base is just going to go on Discord. Hey, there's someone over here, rather than light a beacon and then 5 minutes later they're like, oh look, they need help over here, right? So it's a cool idea in essence, but unfortunately, it'll never come to fruition, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think detecting where the enemies, because I think also maybe, and this is a big fat maybe, what the developers want is to see what a field battle would look like instead of a siege.
Yeah, we did it. My last major
I
test,
mean, we did it, yes, because it was the
we did.
battle between.
Voilà.
It was a skirmish between the town and the siege camp or something. Which, yeah, you could say that that was a battle, but it also, I really hated the minigame where there was dudes in. And that's fair because it's fair play, but it was like dudes in war and a few other clans on the ancients running around, plopping down these beacons, and then just like just talking shit to us when we were trying to burn them down. Like, oh, you're just wasting resources burning them down. And we're like, yeah, we know, but we got to stop you from seeing us. And it's just so stupid. It's just, just some sort of joker running around.
Right.
That was it was annoying, and now it's funny. Now I think back on it. But maybe that's what they want to do. They want to have the ability so you can intercept an enemy something, right? So you could have a field battle happen organically in the game. But maybe, or what do you guys think? Why is this feature possible? Why is this a feature?
They didn't think about it.
That could be it.
It's that I think it's as simple as I know why they added it, right? Because they needed something for people to know that there was someone nearby, but they didn't balance it when they added it. They just kind of threw it in as a feature. And maybe they know it's broken and they're going to balance it in the future, but as it stands right now, it is not balanced.
So you play Foxhole or not? No?
No, I don't.
Oh, you do? Because in Foxhole we have the same things. It's in the game since very long ago, and it's just a watchtower like this, and we just spam on the map to counter partisan. And I think they want they test this in Anvil to see what's happened, but I don't think it's a good idea.
We'll see. Like if they absolutely want to have beacons in the game, like I suggested making it like a gameplay feature where you have certain locations where beacons are better, and you can only build, like, they're super expensive and they require a lot of resources to maintain. So you have to build them in a town, and the point is that they have a bigger radius than the ones that are shown here. So you build them on a mountain, and you can see whatever the mountain touches, sort of thing. I don't know, like they can see like a big radius around it. But if you build it in a valley, it's much more limited. But that could be one way of doing it. But still, it's still a radar. It's still a radar. So, do you want to have a radar in your game? Yes or no?
Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah. So I think everyone agrees on that. I don't think there's anyone who actually want to have this in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please just message me if you disagree, or comment on the thing anyway. Let's see here. People have commented on the chat. Let's see.
I see that Cap wants it, but that's no surprise considering that OG is afraid of confrontation. I mean, his own personal opinion, but you know,
Cap is OG. How do you know that?
Cappy, yeah.
Yeah,
At least I think that's the same Cappy.
Well,
Could be someone
Cappy, do
else,
you want to
I'm not
get
sure.
on? Do you want to get on the podcast and defend your position, or do you just want to throw shit in the chat? It's okay if you just want to talk in the chat. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just
I'll keep
such
my-
a weird way to play. It's just, oh yeah, this is a medieval game where they don't even know what a cell phone is or a 5G signal, but fair enough. We have Discord, but then why add this to the thing then? Maybe I'm just being.
How can I play without my wall hacks? I can't see where the enemy is 100% of the time.
Yeah.
That means we're screwed. That's my mentality.
All right. Anyway, I think that's it. Unless you guys want to have more topics to discuss. Anyone?
I think I'm good here. All good in the hood.
Yeah, I guess the last thing to say is I look forward to seeing you all on the battlefield on the 15th and the 16th and the 17th. It's going to be amazing. I hope a lot of you guys record so that we got some good recordings and we can review the footage afterwards. But not just on the podcast, but just for the sake of it's a lot of good footage out there and we can promote the game. All right. Have a good night, guys. Sleep well.
Yep.
See you guys.
Yep. See ya.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Peace.